front of you, does it give you the same vibes as Final Destination? Catch up, Slowpoke. It's Popo. Hi, Popo.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Andrea. I'm the J in the JP4 garage. I went to Babe's Ride Out. I left on June 1st, and my plan was to stay in Pennsylvania the night before check-in.
You were riding a really long ways. Do you remember the mileage, what it was supposed to be?
I don't remember the mileage. I know that it was going to take approximately 10 hours, and I've never done a trip like that, especially on my bike. Plan was to get at least 6 to 8 hours of riding in. Felt like that was doable. Plus, I don't know the area in New York and I don't know any areas in Pennsylvania, so I was like, I'm just gonna see how far I can go. Once I start getting tired, I'll look 20-30 minutes ahead on the map and see if I can find a hotel.
Something else to note, you've ridden your bike in other states, but you've often never ridden it out of state.
Yeah, so I've ridden in Virginia, Georgia, Alabama, and Mississippi. But this trip I rode it out of Virginia and into Maryland. Oh, and now I can say I've ridden in New York and Pennsylvania.
That's true.
Yep.
Fun fact, Narrowsburg, New York is right on the border of Pennsylvania and New York. Like, you cross a bridge and then Google's like, welcome to New York. And
Exactly.
you start singing Taylor Swift to yourself.
Yep. At this part in the video, me and Trey technically officially separate. Still kind of follow me for a little bit because you want to get breakfast and that's the nearest breakfast place.
Oh, also, there was something special about your route. You went some highway to get across the Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel. Do you want to talk about your route a little bit?
I took the route up Eastern Shore. My bike goes 70 miles an hour.
With like a tailwind.
Maybe. I love my bike. Gabby is great. I don't feel comfortable on the interstates, so Trey followed me or guided me in the truck playing as a blocker on the little bit of 64 that I had to be on to get across the Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel. I've taken this route before. I know that the roads are relatively chill, not a lot of traffic.
It's just like small town America on the sea.
Exactly.
You said that this was about where we parted ways.
Yeah.
I had planned to pull in like 2-3 miles and get breakfast. I was going to watch you cross over the Maryland border because no turning back.
Yeah, no turning back.
No turn back point or go, no go. She made it across. She sent me pictures. And so I turned back and started heading back to our side of the water.
It was maybe half an hour before I made it to the Maryland border. Stopped at a rest stop there. Yay. Headed on my way. Storms got worse. It was raining the entire time that I was riding. This is where it kind of took a turn. I made it to Fruitland, Maryland. I was not far from the Delaware state line and I was approaching a red light. I kept a really big distance between me and the car in front of me. I know it's raining. As soon as I hit the back brake to begin slowing down, I lost traction and me and the bike went down in the middle of the highway. Somebody came out of the car and helped me get my bike up because I was a hot mess. One bag fell off the bike. I couldn't get it back on. So once the bike was up, I moved it to the side of the road. I moved the bag over to a Denny's parking lot. And then I promptly started up my bike, moved it over to the parking lot, and went and sat in a Denny's for 2 hours. If you were the waitress at Denny's, you were awesome. Thank you for dealing with a very panicked, sad person who just sat there nibbling on a burger. So I sat at a Denny's for like 2 hours until he came.
With the truck and the ramps, you did ask if you should keep going. I put that in your court.
It kind of hurt my pride to go down. So the rain stopped at this point, and it was supposed to be clear skies pretty much the rest of the day. Literally, we didn't hit a single bit of rain the entire 2 hour ride back.
Yeah,
3 hour
very
ride.
much just the universe, just adding another layer of complexity.
But the adrenaline had already taken a lot out of me. I wasn't feeling the best, so we loaded up the bike in the back of the truck and we went home. And that leads us into the second day where we woke up at the literal butt crack of dawn. Yep.
We never unloaded Gabby. Got maybe 4 or 5 hours of sleep, and then we headed back out to get us up there, and it took us 7 or 8 hours.
7 or 8, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And we did have our two dogs with us the entire time, so.
And that leads us into the next portion of video, right?
Alright, I'm gonna go out the light, okay?
So, 1 in 10, or 1 out of 10, on a scale of 1 to 10, there we go, words. What would you rate your trip?
If I'm just looking at it in overall, I'm going to probably rank it as a 4, but that's not because of anything that Babes Ride Out did. That part, 10.
It's because I was there, wasn't it?
No, it's because he was never supposed to come. He was supposed to be at home with the kids, a fun weekend.
Mr. Mom.
Yeah, he's supposed to be Mr. Mom. Then I went down and things had to take a turn. My ego was bruised, my confidence is bruised. I still kind of have some anxiety about riding, but the biggest thing is I like him. I want to hang out with him. And he has a nice comfy bed at the Airbnb. Why am I going to sleep in a tent if I have a nice comfy bed that I already paid for and it has AC? And I knew that was going to be the thing if he came up anyway. And that's exactly what happened. Even though I did go back to Bay's Ride Out and hang out and do all that stuff Friday night, Saturday I hung out with him. I didn't go on the fun rides. I didn't do as much stuff as I could have done. Not because he made me not do it, but because I just didn't. I don't know how to really describe it. I'm no longer operating on my own, just whatever I want to do. I'm now thinking of him and what would be good for the dogs and everything else. There's like 3 extra things that I have to think about. So yeah, overall I'm gonna have to call it a 4, but that's not because of Babe's Ride Out. That's my own issues with things.
Is it cool if I interject?
Sure.
You brought up a good point that with the addition of me and the dogs, it gave you an extra thing to think about. Was this trip a bit of self-care for you?
I don't know about self-care, but self-confidence.
Okay.
I've never done a motorcycle trip by myself. I've never done much of anything on a motorcycle by myself other than go to work. I know how to drive across the country in my car. That's a completely different thing. I drive from Virginia to Mississippi twice a year. I can do that on my own, no problem. Well, I have to have my dog, Finn. So riding my bike out of state, across state lines for multiple hours, and then going on a camping trip on my own was to prove to myself that I'm able to do it. I don't have to have somebody babysit me. I don't think you're a babysitter, but...
Well, I do want to acknowledge that was something that you felt. and something that you do still feel. But that also reminded me of, there was also a bit of a proving ground situation for Gabby as well, because she's only 250 cc's, which I hate to say it as an only 250, but if you think about, I mean, Harley just released a 135 kit. That's probably 5 Gabbies.
Gabby gets a lot of flack for being a 250cc. Gabby gets a lot of flack for being a Chinese bike. Gabby gets a lot of flack for being just a not named brand. She's not a Harley. She's not a Yamaha. She's not anything super duper special, but she's super special to me. I quote, somebody told me that it would be a hellacious trip if I ever tried to take a trip on my bike. I love my bike. My bike can do a lot. My bike gets me to and from work, and she can go on the highway. We've done it. My bike's a good bike. I did not crash because my bike is Chinese. I did not crash because my bike is 250cc. I did not crash because I'm a bad rider. I lost traction.
The footage speaks for itself. You rode on the highway for how long? You rode through 2 cities, Hampton and Virginia Beach, which
about an hour.
Counts as like 2. Yeah, over all types of conditions, because that's one of the most traveled roads in Virginia, just because of military alone. So if you factor in for the oil slick and the imperfections in the roads, like you made it outside the state, essentially from one edge of the state to the next, because we're not far from Carolina. All that you did right, that's just, you were coming to a stop. There was weight on your bike that was still relatively new. You had gotten a couple miles under your belt, but this isn't the first bike that you've ridden, so it's more of just like after a few miles, you know, like, hey, cool, I got an idea for what's going on, how my bike reacts.
And also note, I'm at 3.5, 4 hours on the road at this point. I know how to stop. I've stopped at multiple stoplights at this point. I've been behind traffic. At that moment, I hit the bad patch of road, the bad patch of water, and it was like an instant. As soon as I hit the back brake, I felt that wobble and my back tire came out from underneath me. It just was what it was. It did kill my confidence. It sucks.
So, is this the end?
Oh, no.
No?
Far from it.
Okay.
I
knew that. I just wanted to hear you say it on camera.
I want to go to Babe's Ride Out, and I want to have, in 2024, I want to have a Gabby redemption ride. I want to have that proving moment, and I know I can do it. I just now have a little bit more anxiety about it. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Gabby redemption ride. Watch out.
You heard it here first.
It'll happen, and you'll have to be Mr. Mom that weekend.
So that's really it. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
Be safe when you go riding, and wear your gear, because it's important.
If you like the video, feel free to like. Don't have to. Be cooler if you did.
Be on the lookout. There'll be more videos.
Yes, definitely more videos. Like I said, we're trying to branch out and not just do motorcycle content.
This is a garage, so anything that goes in a garage, there will probably be content about it.
A fridge goes in a garage. Are we going to do cooking videos?
Heck yeah. I'll show you my camp cooking.
We'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Just so you all know, this really freaking sucks. I don't like riding in the rain.